I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So, on the cemetery world, uh, Drukhari forces, a Drukhari raiding party, and a Chaos warband discover that they're both scouting the same possible Tomb World entrance, so they decide to join forces temporarily and try and take on this Necron defense thing, I guess. So yeah, for whatever reason, the Drukhari and the Chaos troops feel they can get along long enough to at least breach the defenses, and I guess we'll find out what happens after that. So the cemetery tomb world entrance. The convergence of Dominion will be acting as a teleporter. So at the start of every Necron turn, I'll roll a die for each one. On a 4 or better, they get some sort of unit. Then other dice rolls will determine what kind. That's the actual tomb entrance. If anything that's not a Necron actually gets there, then the Necrons automatically lose. The teleport Dominion things will activate on the first turn. I think that's pretty much it for terrain-wise, for interesting things. Army-wise, all the way over here. So my Necron Surface Defense Force, 2 Doomsday Arcs, a Canoptic Doomstalker, 2 Annihilation Barges, one with a Tesla Cannon and the other with a Gauss Cannon, 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers, 2 with the Gauss Destructor, 1 with the Enmitic Exterminator, and then 3 Hexmark Destroyers just hanging out in the teleport area for when something goes bad, which it will. Over here on Chaos, we have a Night Desecrator, another Knight, proxying in as a Night Desecrator, a Rhino, a couple of Obliterators that'll be teleporting in, 5-man squad of Scarab Occult Terminators that'll teleport in, 5-man squad of Warp Talons that'll also teleport in, 3 Bikers, a Venom Crawler, some Greater Possessed, and this Demon Prince that might possibly get summoned in. So I actually have a lot of anonymous Space Marines and not enough Rhinos. So we're going to pretend that these 3 bunkers are actually 3 Rhinos. They won't have any weapons or be able to do anything like pop smoke or anything like that. They just move and carry some guys. So between 4 Rhinos, there'll be this group of 10, which will have a flamer and a plasma gun. This group of 10, which will have an auto cannon and a heavy bolter. This group of 8, which doesn't have any kind of special weapon because they suck. And then all of my HQs, Chaos Lord, Fabulous Bile, Dark Apostle, Sorcerer, Master of Executions, and the Master of Possessions. Yeah. And then for Drukhari, I have Talos, 10 Coblite Words, a Venom, 5 Incubi in the Venom, Arena Champion and 2 Reavers, 10 Witches, a Succubus, 2 groups of 5 Scourges that are gonna hang out in the webway, I guess, until they need to come into this fight. So yeah, all of these guys against these poor, not hurting anybody right now Necrons. So I'll set up the plant, and we can start the battle. Okay, so Chaos has this left side here, so we've got all the Rhinos and the not so dangerous Rhinos there, the Knights behind them, then the Greater Possessed Bikers and Venom Crawler on this little hill right here. The Drukhari have the other side with their the Reavers, Arena Champion, Talos, and Succubus all on the hill. Then the Witches, Carbolites, and the Venom down here. For Necrons, we have a Doomsday Arc and an Annihilation Barge with a Heavy Destroyer with a Gauss Destructor behind them. Doomsday Arc, not Doomsday Arc, a Doomstalker on this little hill here with the Heavy Destroyer with the Enigmatic Exterminator back by the doorway. The other Doomsday Arc Annihilation Barge and the God's Destructor Heavy Destroyer back over there. So Drukhari gets to go first. So we'll start with Drukhari movement on round 1. Okay, so all of the Drukhari forces just advanced forward as far as they could. And there's nobody really in shooting range, so that's all the Drukhari can do. So that takes us on over to Chaos, round 1 movement. So like the Drukhari, the Chaos forces have all advanced forward except for the Knights. They just moved. There's nobody really in range for any sort of psychic thing. So we'll go to shooting, and the only thing that's really in range for shooting are the 2 Knights. So let's try and kill some Doomsday Arcs. So both these Knights shot at the Doomsday Arc over here, doing 1 point of damage to it. They're not close enough to a charge yet, so that'll take us on over to the Necron turn. Okay, so for the most part, the Annihilation Barges just moved up to get better shots for shooting, but this little... put him on the wrong side. A Royal Warden popped out of that teleportation one, and 5 Immortals popped out of this one. 5 Immortals with Tesla Carbines. That's all we're doing for Necron movement, so we'll go into Necron shooting. Okay, so this Annihilation Barge, along with the Doomstalker, did 19 points of damage to this Knight. The Heavy Destroyer back there did a lot of damage to the Rhino here. This Doomsday Arc did some paltry damage to this Knight. That Heavy Destroyer killed one of these bikers. This Annihilation Barge killed a couple of these Reavers over here. There's really no Necrons in the point to charge, so yeah, that'll take us over to round 2. So Chaos goes first in this round, so we'll go into Chaos movement. So again, all of the Chaos troops are just surging forward, trying to get to the hill. The Rhino and the fake Rhinos just moving up, trying to get closer. The Biker's getting way, way up there. The Greater Possessed and Venom just making a slow and steady thing. The Obliterators did drop in on either of these 2 hillsides over here, ready to blast away at some Necrons. Go into the... yeah, definitely go into the Chaos shooting phase. So the Rhino tried to shoot the Annihilation Barge and failed. Both Knights tried to shoot this Doomsday Arc and failed. The Venom Crawler tried to shoot the Annihilation Barge and failed. These Bikers that are right there by the Annihilation Barge failed to hit him. This Obliterator actually made some wounds, but he saved against them. And this Obliterator actually did a couple points of damage to this Annihilation Barge, so yeah. Bad times for Chaos. Really not in a good place for a charge, and I don't know, do Bikers charge? Is it a thing? Especially into like a tank device? I don't know, that just seems kind of sketchy to me, so probably not going to do that, and we'll just go on to the Drukhari turn for movement. So the Drukhari have just continued moving up the field. The Witches advanced forward, as did the Succubus. The Arena Champion just moved a lot closer to the Annihilation Barge. The Kabbalites just moved forward. The Venom just moved forward. The Talus just moved forward. Wait another turn, I think, before I bring in the Scourges. Yeah, I'll probably regret that next turn, but oh well. Yeah, no magic for the Dark Elves. Haha. So, shooting phase. So, the Talos, the Venom, the Cobbleites, and the Arena Champion all dumped shots into the Annihilation Barge, and he took a single point of damage. So, yay, Necron save rolls. The Arena Champion is not crazy enough to charge right at this exact moment, so that'll take us up to round 2 Necron movement. Okay, so this Annihilation Barge has just moved forward, kind of into the fray, I guess. This Annihilation Barge has done the same. These Immortals advanced way up to get to this mausoleum here. The Royal Warden just moved up to the, I don't know, the entrance to the top level there. Some Tomb Blades popped out of this teleporting to minion thing. And a Hexmark Destroyer has come down on the Drukhari side. That'll be a good experience. No Catan right now, so we'll go into Necron shooting. Okay, so the Hexmark Destroyer shot and killed 6 of the witches. The Annihilation Barge wiped out the Arena Champion. The Doomsday Arc did a crap ton of damage to this guy. He's only got 2 health left. The Doomstalker did a decent amount of damage to this Chaos Fake Rhino thingy. This Annihilation Barge did a little bit of damage to that far greater possessed. That Doomsday Arc did about 10 points of damage to this Knight. And pretty much everyone else just missed what they were aiming at. Morale for these witches. Sadly, one of the witches ran away. But there aren't really any Necrons in a desirous position to charge, so that'll take us to round 3, Chaos's turn. Alright, so everything moved forward. All of the HQs that were in this Rhino have disembarked, and the Rhino just backed off like an inch. But everything just moved happily forward. Well, the Obliterators didn't move. So yeah, now that my Psychers are actually out and about, we can actually have a Psychic phase. Yay! So a lot of smites were tossed around. None of them succeeded, and the Master of Possessions periled on himself with the Snake Eyes and not the 12, of course. So that'll take us over to Chaos Shooting. Okay, so his Heavy Stubber and his Heavy Stubber and this Obliterator did a whole lot of damage to this Annihilation Barge, just didn't manage to kill it. And yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. Everybody else just missed real badly. So we'll go on to Chaos Charge phase, which will be these 2 Greater Possessed charging into that Annihilation Barge. Okay, so both Greater Possessed charged into the Annihilation Barge, and they managed to kill it, and it didn't explode. That's a sad phase, at least for me. So that'll take us over to Drukhari, turn 3. So all of the Drukhari have surged forward yet again, and a unit of Scourges has dropped in over here. So, no Psychers. That'll never cease to be a thorn in my side. I don't even play Drukhari. I mean, they're not my chosen thing, but I mean, even Dark Elves in D&D can cast magic. You guys need to get over your issue with Slaanesh, that's all I can say. So, Drukhari shooting. So, between the Venom, the Cobblite Warriors, and this Talos, they managed to kill off this Annihilation Barge. Yeah, I'm not quite ready to charge yet this turn, so we'll go into Necron's round 3. So for the Necrons, these immortals hopped off the hill, came down here to try and take on these scourges. The Royal Warden and the Tomb Blades all moved up off the top of the hill. And let's see. Oh, this Hexmark kind of got off at its hill to try and chase down these Drukhari. And the only portal that popped anything out this turn was this one, and it popped out 5 more immortals with Tesla carbines. If you've seen any of my other videos where I have the convergence of the Dominion teleport thingy, they don't really work most of the time, so... But it's still a fun mechanic that I like, so I'm going to keep on using it. Yeah, it was Necron movement, so no Catan, so Necron shooting. Okay, so this Doomsday Arc killed off the Bikers with its Gauze Flare, its Gauze Flux everything, and then between it and the Doomstalker and their Doomsday Cannons, they killed off the actual Night Desecrator thingy that I have. And then this Doomsday Arc killed off all of the Kabbalites with its Gauze Array, and it killed off the other Knight with its Doomsday Gun. And that's pretty much all the well, this Hexmark killed a bunch of witches. But yeah, that's pretty much all that happened for Necron shooting, and they're choosing not to charge because there's really nobody to charge. So that'll take us to round 4, Chaos turn. Well, with the loss of their knights, the Chaos forces seem to be in a little bit more of a hurry, so all of the rhinos drop their troops and start backing away as quick as possible. The Scarab Occult Terminators dropped in. The Sorcerer was able to summon in this Demon Prince of Slaanesh, which will probably instantly destroy the fragile truce they have with the Drukhari. So that'll be a good time. Yeah, everything else just pretty much, all the HQs just stayed put where they are. These guys didn't move because they're gonna get shot anyway. So we go on to the Psychic phase. So for Psychics, the Scarab Terminator Sorcerer guy did Zinch's Firestorm, doing 3 damage to the Doomsday Arc. And then all of these guys were just smiting left and right and managed to kill off 2 of these Tomb Blades. So that'll take us on over to Chaos Shooting. So this Obliterator did a little bit of damage to this Doomsday Arc. And this entire squad of Terminators, along with this Venom Crawler, did 5 points of damage to this Doomsday Arc. And that was pretty much it. All of these Space Marine heavy weapons guys shot, but they all missed. The Havoc Launcher missed with everything, so not the best shooting round. Charging, probably not going to happen just yet. Next turn for sure, probably. So that'll take us on up to Drukhari movement. So all the remaining Drukhari just moved up. You can kind of see this. The witches here in front of this talus. The other group of scourges popped in over here. And the Drukhari are less than pleased at seeing a Demon Prince of Slaanesh amongst their allies. And yeah, they don't consider themselves allied with the Chaos Force anymore. So as far as the Drukhari is concerned, everybody is fair game now. And that's about to be proven pretty awesomely here in a second. Okay, so Drukhari shooting. Good times. So all the scourges between them managed to kill 1 immortal. The Talos did a decent amount of damage to the Obliterator here. And the Venom did a bunch of damage to this Demon Prince of Slaanesh. So that takes us to the charge phase. Yeah, stuff is in fact charging. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna put no charge this turn. We'll do a charge next turn depending upon what's still alive. So end of Drukhari turn, so we'll go to Necrons round 4. Okay, so a whole lot of goings on the Necron side. These immortals have moved up to the edge of the cliff here. The last remaining Team Blade has moved over to the side. Royal Warden just moved up a little bit. These immortals just moved over to get a better shot on the Scourges. This Hexmark hopped out of its little teleportarium there. This Hexmark just moved up. This Hexmark hopped out of its little teleportarium. Let's see. A Technomancer. Yeah, he's a Technomancer. Hopped out of this portal. And 3 Scorpec Destroyers hopped out of this portal. So a whole lot of backup showed up this time around. So my favorite phase, and hopefully the death of most of these guys, Necron shooting. That was a very enjoyable shooting round. So this Hexmark did a little bit of damage to this Talus. That Hexmark killed off 4 of these Scourges, and the immortal grouping over there killed off these 3 Scourges. These guys, the Doomsday Arc didn't really do much of anything. The Locust Heavy Destroyer did a little bit of damage to the Succubus. The Royal Warden, the Tomb Blade, and the Doomstalker, between the 3 of them, managed to take out the Demon Prince. This Heavy Destroyer killed the Greater Possessed over here. This Doomsday Arc managed to kill off the Venom Crawler. And these Immortals actually did a point of damage to these Terminators. That was a whole lot of enjoyable dice rolling. It was fun. There really aren't any Necrons in decent charge setup or anything. These are all shooty guys for the most part. So we'll go to Chaos round 5, movement. So for Chaos, pretty much everything just moved up as close to this hill as it could. These Terminator occult guys just kind of moved around to the front of this mausoleum. These Warp Talons just dropped in here behind the Scourge. This Rhino's just hanging out here at the back, not doing anything. And these guys didn't really do anything. So that'll take us to Chaos Psychic phase. So the Scarab Occult Terminator Sorcerer guy tried to do Zinch's Firestorm and it failed. And then all of these Psychers tried to cast Smite on this Royal Warden, but only one of them was able to, and he only took 1 damage. So he's still alive, but probably unhappy. So that'll take us to Chaos Shooting. So the Obliterator killed the Talos. Between these 2 squads of Space Marines and all of these HQs, they killed off 2 of the Incubi. And these guys shot everything they had into this Doomsday Arc, and it saved against everything. It was kind of crazy. So we'll go on to Chaos Charging. There is going to be Chaos Charging. These Warp Talons are going to try and charge this Solarite. Both of these squads of Space Marines are probably going to charge this Tomb Blade. Well, the one on the left will charge the Tomb Blade, the one on the right will charge the Royal Warden. So let's deal with that. Alright, so the Solarite killed a Warp Talon in Overwatch, and they failed their distance. Nobody died in Overwatch over here. They made their distances. These guys killed the Tomb Blade. These guys did a point of damage to the Royal Warden, and then he gun-butted one of them to death. So, yeah, that'll take us to Drukhari turn 5. So, these remaining Drukhari units have just moved closer to the command structure for Chaos, and the Solarite is just going to hang out there. They can't cast awesome magic, so it'll just be the shooting phase for them, which is literally just a Solarite with a blast pistol. So the Solarite did kill a Warp Talon. So the charge phase will be all of these guys are going to charge into Fabius Bile. Yeah, they're just going to charge into Fabius Bile. So we'll deal with that. So all of the Drukhari troops there were successful in charging into Fabius Bile, and the Dark Apostle heroically intervened when the Succubus came too close. But Fabius Bile did indeed die, and the Dark Apostle took a lot of damage from the Succubus, and didn't really do a lot of damage in return. So that'll take us to Necron round 5 movement. Alright, so this hex mark has hopped up here behind these chaos guys. This hex mark has just moved closer to these chaos guys. Yeah, nobody over there really moved. The Scorpic Destroyers moved down off of that top level, and the Heavy Destroyer just moved over to get a better shot on these guys. Over here, these Immortals and this hex mark have just moved up a little bit, and the only thing to pop anything out of its little teleporter thing was the Void Dragon. The Tan Shard came out of this far one over here on the end. This has probably been the worst rolling luck I've ever had for teleporters for this particular kind of game thing, so it's been crazy. Well, there's a Catan on the field now, but there's nobody within range for any of his powers to go off, so Necron shooting. So this hex mark killed some Space Marines. Between the Doomsday Arc, the Immortals, and the Doomsday Arc and the Immortals, they killed this Terminator squad, and the Heavy Destroyer killed off the last Greater Possessed that was here. This Doomstalker killed a Space Marine. The Heavy Destroyer back there on the top level killed some of these Space Marines. Oh shit, he couldn't have done that. I'll have to put them back. I totally forgot that there was combat there. Alright, scratch that. Ignore that. These guys did kill off the Solarite and the remaining witches that were not actually in combat. So, Necron shooting. So Necron charges. It's definitely going to be these destroyers into these guys. Put these guys back. I'll fix that and roll combat. So the Scorpex successfully charged into the massive Space Marines and promptly killed 5 of them. There's only one left. And the aspiring champion there managed to do a point of damage to the Royal Warden, which didn't kill it, but put him really close. So that'll take us to round 6. Chaos movement. So the Dark Apostle fell back. The Sorcerer, Chaos Lord, and Master of Executions all hopped up onto the hill there. Master of Possessions just moved up to the hill. These guys advanced as far as they could. These guys just moved over a little bit to try and do something. I don't know what it is. And then these Warp Talons over here are going to try and charge into this guy when their turn comes for that. Yeah, so that'll take us on over to Chaos Psychic phase. So the Dark Apostle failed, the Master of Possessions periled, and the Sorcerer did a mortal wound of smite to the Scorpic Destroyers. So we'll go to Chaos Shooting. So a lot of pistol shots into these Scorpics here. The Master of Possession and the Master of Execution, not the Master of Possession, the Sorcerer and the Master of Executions each did a point of damage to some Scorpics, which got them down really low. Over here, the heavy bolter and autocannon tried to shoot the immortals and failed. And then everybody else in the squad shot at the Scorpex and failed to do anything there. These guys advanced. These guys don't have guns. So that'll take us to the charge phase, which will be all of these HQs into the Scorpex, which will make it, and these Warp Talons into the Hex Mark, and hopefully nothing bad happens there. So let's do the rolling and the awesomeness of that. Alright, so all of the HQs successfully charged into that mess, and these Warp Talons challenged into this guy. So they did lose a Warp Talon for the fighting, and the Master of Executions killed a Scorpec. And yeah, that's about all that happened over there. So that'll take us to Drukhari, round 6 movement. Just these 2 Incubi and the Succubus left for them, but movement out of the way. Alright, so the Dark Eldar have just moved closer to these HQs to try and kill them. Nobody has any guns, so we'll just go into the charge phase. Okay, so the Incubi killed the Dark Apostle, and the Succubus killed the Master of Possessions. That was super cool, actually. So that'll take us to Necron movement round 6. So this hex mark just moved up to try and get closer to these guys to shoot them. The Void Dragon moved up. The Immortals and this hex mark all moved up to get better shots on the Drukhari. Yeah, that destroyer hopped down. The only thing that came out of the teleports was this Necron Overlord. Yeah. Alright, well, it'll be a Catan Shard power experience now. So the Void Dragon used the Voltaic Storm on the Incubi and killed one, leaving just the Klavex. So that'll take us to Necron shooting. So between the Immortals and the Hexmark, they killed off the remaining Incubi. This Hexmark killed off these remaining Space Marines. No, that's not what happened. No, he shot at the Succubus and didn't do anything. This Heavy Destroyer and the Gauze Weapon from this Doomstalker wiped out most of the squad. And the Immortals wiped out the rest of the squad minus the Aspiring Champion. So the Necrons are not going to charge anybody, but they do have people that are in combat, so we'll deal with this little mess of people right here. So the Royal Warden clubbed the last Space Marine in that grouping to death, and then the Master of Executions killed the Scorpec Destroyer. So that'll take us to round 7, Chaos Movement. Well, nobody in the Chaos groups are choosing to leave where they are. They feel that they're in a good spot. So, Psychic phase. So the Sorcerer successfully smited. Smited or smote? I'm gonna go smote. So he successfully smote the last Scorpec, killing it. So that'll take us to Chaos Shooting. So I was trying to be cute, and my Aspiring Champion supercharged his Plasma Pistol, and of course that's when I roll a 1. So he's dead. And neither of these guys were able to do any sort of damage to the Royal Warden. So the charge phase, which will be the Master of Executions charging into the Royal Warden. So the Royal Warden failed to hit anything on Overwatch, and then the Master of Executions just killed him. Alright, so that'll go to Drukhari movement, which is just this lonely Succubus. So the Succubus just hopped up onto this hill. She doesn't have a gun, but she is going to multi-charge the Sorcerer and the Master of Executions. Well, the Succubus successfully charged into the Master of Executions and the Sorcerer. Only did a little bit of damage to the Master of Executions, and then he turned around and pretty much cut her in half. So the Drukhari contingent has been wiped off the board, but that makes it Necron turn, and since these are the only two Chaos people left, I don't anticipate this being a very long round. So round 7 Necron movement. So this Hexmark was the only one to move. He just wanted to get closer to these guys. And this little teleport portal thing spit out some more Scorpec destroyers. Yeah, so we'll do a Catan Shard power. So the Void Dragon did Voltaic Storm, doing 3 damage to the Chaos Sorcerer, which will take it up to Necron Shooting, which will probably be the last phase, but anything is possible. Alright, so this Hexmark killed the Sorcerer, and this Heavy Destroyer killed the Master of Executions. So yeah, that would be the end of the game, and the Necrons have successfully defended their Tomb World entrance yet again. So I do really like doing these defense games. Maybe that's just the kind of guy I am. I don't know. It's just hard for me to find people that are interested in doing out of the way, off the norm kind of things. So, but yeah, this was fun. I can't imagine why Chaos or Drukhari would ever want to team up, but they did for a little while here. Yeah, good times. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you watching. Have a good morning, and I'll see you at the next one.